Hey YouTube, Mike the Manic Geek here. Now today, I finally resurrect the beer and review line of videos that I do. And I'm going to be starting off with the 2016 Beer Camp Across America Variety Pack. Now this is a huge collaborative effort that Sierra Nevada takes part in on a regular basis that gathers together breweries from every corner of the country to produce a series of unique one-time only production beers that you can only get out of this 12-pack. So today I'm going to do a pretty quick gloss over with you guys on each of these beers, tell you what I thought about them, and whether or not $30 for a 12-pack is worth your hard-earned money. Alright, so before I go on into my tasting experiences with each of these beers, I'm going to let you guys know a couple of things straight off the bat. First, do not be consuming these unless you're of legal drinking age in your region to be drinking them. If you're in the United States, that means 21 or older. Secondly, don't drink a beer like a heathen. These are not meant to be consumed straight out of the bottle. I did all of my taste testing with this little guy right here. This is a 4-ounce taster glass, specifically from Beer Camp Across America. However, the suggested glass for this, and it's a fairly commonly found glass if you go to most liquor stores, would be a snifter. These glasses are found all over the place. They're typically anywhere from $5 to $10, depending on how fancy it is or whatever. You can actually pick one of these up on the Tech Syndicate website. However, in a pinch, if you can't find a glass like that, or you just prefer a more traditional cup, then a nonic pint like this one from Paul's Hardware also works extremely well for most of these beers, better for the dark ones, however. Now each of these beers was sampled over a period of about 30 to 45 minutes to allow the beers to also warm up from their served as cold condition when I started tasting them, so that I could get a broader spectrum of the flavors from each of these beers. But enough of the technical bullcrap, let's get into the actual beers. So we're going to start off with the Moxie-Moron Imperial Session IPA. Now those of you that know anything about beer at this point have probably concluded that an Imperial Session ale kind of cancels itself out and it's just an IPA. But basically what I got out of this one, pours a clear golden color, beautiful head retention on this beer. The aromatics you get out of this are all lemongrass, guava, pine, grapefruit zest, and a lot of hop dankness in there. This is most definitely for the purist IPA lover out there. The taste profile is, it's got a sweet light malt base to it and supremely hop forward. Big lemongrassy, piney flavors. Lingering hop dankness on your tongue at the end. It lets you know this is a very assertive IPA. Now the next beer I want to talk about is Sweet Sunny South. Now this one is very different from every other beer in this 12-pack. It's called a table beer. Not really sure what that means in this context. The base of this kind of reminds me of a blonde ale. I could be wrong on that end, but table beer it is. So this pours like a light pink yellow color. Really pretty looking beer. Not much of a head that forms on it. But the flavor in this is just, it's so refreshing. The malt base on this beer has a lot of a cornbread flavor to it. But then past that, you just get these big papaya, peach, guava, prickly pear notes. And there's even a bit of an unsweet tea flavor in the background. Now, all of this is accompanied by this nice, refreshing tartness that you get in the beer, without it being a full-blown sour. In general, this beer is the one you give to people that drink wine that think they don't like beer. So the next beer we're going to talk about is Pat Riot. This beer is steeped in a lot of traditional brewing recipes from the United States. And in this case, we're dealing with a Rye Pale Ale that was brewed with apples in it. Now, the apple flavor you get out of this isn't like something that's cloyingly sweet like you get out of a lot of the cheaper ciders like Woodchuck and the like. This tastes more like actually biting out of an apple and tasting the skin as well. It's a really clean, earthy flavor. And the rye and the hops used in this are a perfect combination for the apples here. And as the beer warms up, you actually get a lot more of that apple flavor starting to come out. I would actually go so far as to say that you could pair this one very easily with apple pie and it would be freaking amazing. Now next I want to talk about family values. Now this is the Imperial Brown Ale from the bunch, and it does pour more like a stout in terms of its dark brown color than I would anticipate, but that's really where a lot of the stout similarities end. It does have a more amped up mouthfeel than a lot of brown ales do, again, much like a stout. But a lot of that's just coming from the amped up grain bill here. This is still very much a brown ale in character in terms of the mouthfeel and the nutty flavors that you get out of this, which are amplified here by the wild rice addition into the beer. Now, the cocoa nib and the honey in here is a stroke of genius. I love those flavor combinations together, and if you like either one or the other, you will likely enjoy it here as well. Now there is a bit more of a pronounced roastiness out of this beer than I'm used to with the brown ale. Again, amped up grain bill, addition of cocoa nibs. You're gonna get more roastiness out of it. As the beer warms, you just get more nuttiness out of it, and the chocolate flavors and the honey flavors just sort of mellow out and just get that much more smooth. I would actually recommend letting this beer sit out a little bit before you pour it. Best chilled, not ice cold. So finally, we're gonna wrap up with Stout of the Union. This beer pours black as night, guys. This is the singularity of the group. And it forms a nice thick head on it. Now when you get this going in the right glass, this head is very telling of the body of the beer. I was actually able to scoop it out with a spoon and have it maintain its shape and form. Like, how much carapils did they use in this beer? That is the most crazy head retention I've seen on a non-imperial stout in some time that also doesn't have a nitrogen treatment on it. This beer is just big cocoa and roast on the nose. And the flavor, it's like chocolate cake here, honestly. This beer even has a bit of a dark dried fruit flavor going on in the background. Presumably from the yeast that was used here. It could have something to do with the hops as well. But either way, it's just a smooth, creamy, decadent beer that, again, is definitely a sipper and has this nice lingering bitterness on your palate, almost like you took a bite out of a bar of dark chocolate. Again, another one of these beers you definitely want to serve chilled, not ice cold, and just savor it for a while. So what do I think about the Beer Camp Across America 12-pack? Well, for this year, I think Sierra Nevada and every brewery involved in every single one of these beers did a fantastic job. Each of these is extremely strong in their own right, with the two standouts for me personally having been Sweet Sunny South and Moxie Moron. But that's part of the beauty of this 12-pack, is that there is a beer in here for just about every beer drinker out there. Maybe even for some people that don't even know they like beer yet. And that, I think, is part of the allure of this 12-pack, is that you have such a diverse flavor profile, even with half of these beers being IPAs or some form of pale ale. Each of them has their own unique, distinct characteristics that make them their own beer. And it really does do a good job of showcasing what the different regions of the country are popularizing with their beers. And I have to say, I'm really looking forward to the next release of this. I did want to go ahead and let you guys know that starting next month, Beer Camp is going to be located throughout several different locations across the United States. And I'll go ahead and do something along the bottom here, show you guys the link where you can find that information. And I'll also have it down in the description below, so you guys can find out more information, not only about this project that they have, but where these locations are. And spoilers, if it's near you, I highly recommend going. There's one that's coming through my neck of the woods during the beginning of the trip, and having a hard time resisting the urge to buy the tickets. But anyway, guys, that'll do it for this video. I'm gonna head on out of here. Do that thumbs up, thumbs down, share and subscribe thing like you guys do, how you do. Also, if you do manage to come across this 12-pack, let me know what you guys thought about it. What were some of the standout beers for you, and what did you like about them? Also, did you pick up on any of the flavors that I described throughout? I'd love to hear if you guys maybe picked up on something a little bit different than even I did. Until next time, take it easy, YouTube.